Hi guys, welcome back to Faith Unfiltered Life. My name is JoJo.
I'm Karen.
And we have guests.
Yay!
We are so excited. I know that we've been talking about this Galentine's Day episode for forever. I've been promoting it on social medias, and I'm excited that you are here with us for this episode. Before we get into this Galentine's topic, because apparently it's not a known thing, but
Not a known thing.
It's not, and it's not a known thing. We'll talk about that later. We just want to introduce our guests. So, Karen, will you introduce our guests?
Yes. Surprise. So right here to my right, your left or somebody's whatever, this is Becky. And she is also on the worship team. As you've heard that Jovi and I are both on there, or JoJo and I are both on the worship team. So is Becky. Mm-hmm. Wonderful real estate agent, all that, and just loves the Lord.
Broker, right?
Broker?
Not yet.
No, I never wanted to be a broker. It's too much responsibility. Let someone else do it.
Okay, but you are a coach.
Yes, I'm a real estate
Yes.
coach. Yes, for real estate agents growing their business and different
Nice.
things like that. Yeah.
Nice. And then we have Maria. And Maria is one of the founding pastors of the church that we all go to. And
She's well known on the podcast. I know you guys have heard her name.
yes,
Yes, you have.
we reference
only
her
said it
frequently.
And we
Yes.
try.
that.
Okay, so at the beginning of the podcast, Karen and
I
I were
remember.
like, are we saying people's names? Are we not? But I mean, how could you not? Like,
How can you not?
How can you
not? How can you not?
One, we're on the worship team together. She's a worship pastor. Then she's the pastor of the church. Like, how are we not? It was funny. But Karen and I were like, the pastors that the people, Maria,
You did. I
Pastor
saw
Pat.
an episode.
It got so weird that we were just like, okay, Maria and Pastor Paul. So guys, Maria.
This is Maria. And she is the worship leader, if you didn't hear that in all of that whole thing.
Yes,
So.
yes. You got anything else you want to add to your intro? Because I know you're more than just Pastor Maria. So we're doing this Galentine's Day episode. One, it's February, and it's almost Valentine's Day. And I thought, it's super cute to just have a Galentine's Day. Like, Karen and I, we're the girls, have a couple of girls with us. And I shoot out this text, and I'm like, the theme is Galentine's. And I'm thinking to myself, this is good. It's like, this is going to be great. Everybody's going to get it. Then I hear that Galentine's is not. I mean, I expected Karen not to know what Galentine's was, to be honest. Karen likes dry turkey and she likes fruitcake. Okay?
Enough.
Dry turkey and fruitcake. Yeah. So she was like, I don't know what Galentine's is. And I was like, oh, Karen, I got you. It's fine. This is, Galentine's is just girlfriends getting together. And then we get here and we're talking about it. And I was like, guys, are you excited for Galentine's Day? And they're all looking at each other like,
What is Galentine's
What
Day?
is Galentine's Day? All right, so give the definition.
so Galentine's is just Valentine's, but for your girlfriends, right? So it's the girls that may be not in a relationship, or even if you are in a relationship and you just want to celebrate the friendships in your life, like just the good friends in your life, you have a Galentine's Day. So this is what this is. It's just Galentine's Day. And we're happy that you're here with us because we want to talk about relationships with you. We want to talk about singleness with you. I know Karen's coming from just some singleness, and I love the way that Karen lives out her singleness. I do have to
Oh,
say that.
geez. You better
I
talk
do.
for me then.
No.
Okay.
No, because if I don't know what it is, Karen. You walk around so confident and just like you are confident in yourself. You're confident in God's timing. And I love that. And I feel like our listeners need to hear about that and what that's like. And then, we're married, married probably the longest out of all of us. How long?
36 years.
And she's proud of that,
Yeah.
as she should be. And Becky and I both divorced. And so I feel like there's a lot to be talked about today. And I'm excited that you guys are here with us.
Divorced and remarried.
Divorced and remarried. Yeah.
We're not single.
Yes. Do you know how many times I've done that where I'm like, I'm divorced.
divorced.
And it's like, but you're married. And Leon, my husband, was like, do you know that it like sounds like you're divorced? Like we're divorced. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a problem.
That's a problem.
Or was divorced.
Was divorced.
I
What a
was
simple
divorced.
word.
There we
Simple
go.
word. Was.
I was divorced and now I'm married.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remarried.
Yeah.
So we're just going to
the
talk
one.
about all the little things. I figured we could do some like ice-breaking questions.
Oh.
We are scared.
There was no prep given for this. This morning I text Jovi and I'm like, were you sending me something or were you going to do
I was
something?
supposed to. I was.
And she texted me back and she goes, well, we're just going to have a Valentine's Day and talk about this. Da, da, da. And I went, okay, I don't know what Valentine's Day is. And so we're just going to figure this out while we're here, I guess.
So guys, as you know, our title is Faith Unfiltered, and we are unfiltered, we are raw, and we are authentic. So this just proves it right now.
And we don't prepare our guests for the podcast, so just kidding.
No, she's not.
No, she's not kidding.
Wow. Okay, the first question. These are fun questions. So, what couple in the Bible would you have dinner with? Like, would you want to have dinner with, and why?
Go, Pastor Maria.
I would want just one or a few.
You can name however many couples. Yep.
Okay, like two in particular, I'd probably want Joseph and Mary because I'm very curious about that whole dynamic and, you know, just what it's like to be raising God. So I've just thought, and especially when she lost him, I would love to hear about that. Yeah, do you not pray for a few days because you don't want to talk to him about the fact that Jesus is gone? Exactly. And then probably Abraham and Sarah, and just get a feel for what those dynamics were and make sure that my faith was lining up like that, or if there's any areas I was missing, because I want to make it for the long haul. So
Yeah. I think it's really interesting because when you said Mary and Joseph, my one was going to be Sarah and Abraham because I'm actually doing the Bible in a year right now with the Bible recap. And so we're in that part of Genesis where Abraham goes to Egypt and Sarah's so beautiful. And so he's like, hey, you're so beautiful. I'm afraid something's going to happen here. So you're going to be my sister. Just tell everybody you're my sister. And so he gives her to Pharaoh to be his wife. And I'm just like, well, how does she feel about that? I'd like to kind of like have that discussion, right? So yeah, I would Abraham and Sarah for sure. Because there were so many points along the way that I'm like, okay, I can identify with what you're going through right now because I've kind of been through some of that. And I just want to know how you worked that out, right? How did that happen? So Abraham and Sarah.
I love that. Karen, don't look at me. You're next.
If there is a couple or a person.
There is a couple. There is a couple. I'm a Ruth and Boaz. I mean, that's just it's such a-
romantic.
That is very romantic.
hey, it's coming from a single person, you know. So, and you know, given my background and my history, the most probably one of the most profound things that I saw when I started coming to the church that we all go to was the amazing amount of married couples in there, and still to this day, like to see the beautiful unity of a marriage in the right way. That's really important for a single person to see that and grow from. So yeah, from a romantic perspective, yeah, Ruth and Boaz is just a really cool, I would love to have dinner with them.
Yeah.
I mean, I could only imagine what Boaz would be doing over a dinner table, you know, talking to Ruth and Ruth to him, you know, it's just kind of,
That would be super sweet. Abraham and Sarah definitely, and I would just love to talk to any of the disciples that were married and their partner.
yeah.
That has to be a story. That has to be. I mean, the only thing that comes close to it, obviously, is the series Chosen, where they kind of show us a little bit of the story, and it's not an exact translation of the Bible, but just seeing Peter and his wife's story in that show, it's amazing. It's just amazing to, yes, they themselves, the disciples, were going through a lot, but like just to be the partner of someone who is going through something that big and that life changing, and you know, the support that you need and the faith that you need to have with them, and that to me would be like, all right, girl, let's talk. Specifically the wife, maybe not the disciple. I need to hear from him. I heard from you. There's a couple of books, I've read them. Don't need to hear from you, but I do need to hear from you. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of, like, I would love that, just because I want to say I could never, but then maybe I can. I don't know. It's fun. Okay, next question. You see? That's not that bad. It's not that bad.
That was easy.
Okay, and then the next one is probably similar. What women or woman in the Bible would you invite to the Galentines?
Mary Magdalene.
Yes.
love that.
Mary Magdalene, I'm just so attracted to her story, right?
What resonates with you with her specifically?
What resonates with me the most is I think for me, I did not become a Christian until later in life. I mean, I was almost 39 years old, in 2010, I guess it was. And so, just having gone through a life without Jesus in it, and it's not a possession, it's not a demon possession, but you are living a life that is not reflective of who or what God had in mind for me, right? Yeah. And so you're living your life for something other than Him. And I feel like what she went through, I kind of resonate with that before she met Jesus, and was healed. And then the fact that she just laid down her life after that, just followed Him. And the fact He mentions her so many times. So how great her faith must have been. And just how humble and just how in love. And I mean, in love as Jesus, she must have been with Him and His message, and to be there for Him like that. So she's just a very interesting person to me. And when I went to Israel, we spent quite a bit of time in Magda, which is, of course, where they believe she was. And it's just incredible. It's an incredible story.
I agree. I would love to talk to her.
Yeah.
Okay, Ron.
What was the question? I was so enamored, but I'm like, wow, this is really good.
What woman or women in the Bible would you invite to Galentine's?
I would invite, let me think about this. I would invite, I had the name before I asked what the question was, and then it just went out my door.
It's okay. I'll go first, and then I'll give you time.
We're unfiltered.
We're on completely
Completely.
and unraveled.
I love this. I have had the woman with the issue of the blood.
Oh, that was it. That was mine. I'm like, don't take it from me.
No.
It really was. It really was the one with the issue. Because when you said, now hang on here. When you said you were in Israel, I'm like, oh my gosh, we were at where this huge, beautiful, what do you call it? Mosaic of the woman with the issue of blood. And I was like,
In Israel?
yeah. And I'm like, I would love to just.
I've been obsessed with her story.
I can pick somebody else, so I won't take it.
You
from
have to pick somebody else.
Okay.
Get your back up.
Okay.
Yes. Growing up, my mom had a teaching of her story, her faith journey. My mom suffered from an illness for a really long time, so she resonated with the story of it being 12 years and just the struggle of it. But the way that she taught the story wasn't like a faith of just keep with it, struggling. It was like a faith with grit. Like a woman who not only had faith, but she had to come up with a plan to get her healing. And I think sometimes we take faith so passively.
That's good.
Instead of it being more of like I have a plan because I am standing on a word that I know to be true. I know that if I just get there, it's going to happen, and I've just been obsessed with were you scared? How did you do it? And even if you were scared, how did you overcome that? And just so many questions of 12 years. I mean, Karen shares her testimony on hanging on to God's word for 11 years before something happened. And 12 years is a long
That is a long time.
a long time,
Of isolation,
of
too.
isolation, of judgment, of criticism. Maybe you struggled with someone else's disbelief because you were believing, but someone else wasn't believing with you. And just, she was alone. So her family left her partner, if she had one at one point. It's just so many questions that I would have for her to just be like, please, let me just rub up against you for a little bit to get a little bit of that. Because faith with grit is really, really what I would like. How did you get there? Mr. Maria? Well, Karen might say that yours is hers too.
No.
I will, but that's okay. I'll
That
share.
really was it. But
So I came from a completely different aspect. Well, one, if I'm going to be honest, I was thinking you mistyped it in that it really was like Valentine's something. So I was thinking like a Valentine's party. And because I do host a lot of different events at my house for a lot of people, I was thinking like, well, I would definitely have Martha come because I know she would be so helpful.
That is very good. Yes, that's true.
She would.
She would rock it. Yeah.
She would absolutely work. Yeah.
I love that so much.
Karen.
Second, do over.
You know, I would like probably, if I had to pull another one, maybe Dinah.
Ooh.
She was the warrior.
Remind me of Dinah. Yeah, remind me of
She was
Jesus.
a warrior.
Is that from your special book?
That was my special book. Oh my gosh. Okay, so okay, so
I'm lost.
Special.
Just wait for it. This is so great.
So there was this book that I've had for years upon years and upon years, and it was called Women of the Bible. And so I hadn't read it, and I hadn't read it. And so it was suggested to me to, maybe you should study a few more women in the Bible. And I thought, okay, I got a great book for that. So I pulled it out, and oh my goodness, I had never read it before, and how it had women in here I didn't even know were in the Bible, right? And I was like, oh my goodness. So it turned out to be women from different Bibles, and
Oh my goodness.
and I mean, how they responded to their husbands was just not what I had been seeing or reading in my Bible. So it was.
Was
rather-
Dinah the like?
Was she in the actual Bible?
I know Dinah was in the Bible, but was it the real Dinah from the Bible?
Well, I didn't get that far because I only
The one she wants to talk to is the real Dinah.
the real Dinah. Yes, I want to talk. Yeah, not the
Who
fake
is
one.
Dinah in the Bible?
one.
She was the warrior, wasn't she? Whoever the warrior was, that's the one I would like to see. But I'm pretty sure it's Dinah. Mm-hmm. In the Old Testament,
Like,
she was she led armies. She was a warrior.
Oh, I know who.
Am I right?
Like a prophetess.
Yes.
Okay, guys.
Yes.
If I am, yeah, she was a
Right?
prophetess.
Okay.
Yes.
That's
If I'm wrong about nailing
We're all
this,
looking at
we're in
the
trouble. I know.
if I'm wrong, just put it in the comments. Tell me how much I am wrong. I'm good with it. I've got very broad shoulders. People know
Oh
that
my
about me.
gosh, that is fun.
But that would be the one I would want. Whoever that lady was,
Yeah, look it up.
I'm gonna look it up.
she's going to look at
You guys talk.
Inquiring minds.
it. Okay.
that
Pretty
is
sure it's Dinah.
funny.
Let me go here.
ChatGPT is always.
It's always right on time. Dinah is a woman in the book of Genesis. Dinah, she was the daughter of Jacob and Leah, sister to the 12 sons of Jacob. And she,
Hopefully you're going to say she was a warrior. Okay, don't say anything else. Whatever this woman was, never mind.
she was very quiet.
She was a quiet warrior.
Dinah reminds us that God sees women even when the story is loud with male reactions and quiet, and her voice is quiet.
It's not Karen at all.
We'll work
This
on it.
was a morph between the Bible, the real Bible, and maybe some others.
Yeah, maybe, have I turned red yet?
Oh my
okay.
gosh,
Okay, that's
I
fine.
love this so much.
Okay, I didn't even remember Dinah at all. And she is in the Bible.
But she's in the Bible. That's the important thing.
Yeah, okay.
Hey,
Well, whoever
we're winning.
I'm going to look it up.
We're winning.
I'm going to find out who that lady is who was a prophet.
Please do. We'll do like a little follow up. So, I mean, I guess this just kind of opens it up to relationships in general. And I don't want to say like what God says about relationships, because obviously the Bible does talk about relationships, but like, I guess, how have you seen God in your relationships, or what have we learned about your relationships throughout just your life and your journey and growth moments, maybe you shared a beautiful story during one of our practices that still to this day I think about it and I'm like, she's so right. And she's obviously always right, but
She's not always right.
when she's teaching us in the teaching, okay, during worship. So we were doing a worship set and you shared a story about when one of the time that you considered like actually getting a divorce from pastor.
Oh, I remember
And
this
how,
teaching, yes.
do you remember that? And she was like, I remember thinking to myself, why would I listen to someone who hates me and make a choice based off of that?
Yeah.
Can you share that? Like, it was so impactful that to this day, I'm still walking around thinking like, the devil probably wants me to do this. I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to listen to you. You hate me. And that's from you sharing that story. So I would love if you would share that with.
Well, so yeah, years ago, early in our marriage, we had not been married even 10 years. We probably actually had been married less, like maybe 5, 6, 7 years. And we were in Belarus as missionaries, and it was hard. It was really hard. And there was no food, and our kids were 1 and 3, and there were no diapers, and there were no wipes, and there was no detergent at the time, and no bleach, and no soap, and just nothing. The country was so poor, and just going through a really hard time. And I was not equipped for it. I wasn't equipped to be real successful in life in America with everything, let alone there. But God brought us there, and it was his will, and I cried almost every day, but I grew. And I couldn't have told you at the time what was happening, what God was doing on the inside of me. But on the hindsight, it's unbelievable what he did. And he sustained me through it, but it was rough. It was like every layer of any confidence or anything in myself or any of my strengths, those were all peeled back so that what was needed to be looked at and what was needed to be forced to grow did. Not easy. Best thing ever could have happened to me. But in that hard time, I just started blaming my husband, in my own heart. And honestly, we were newly married-ish,
It's tough.
It's early
tough.
years.
Yeah.
And just, we didn't have, it was our first time in ministry. So our first experience was hard. And we just didn't have a good balance on ministry and marriage and family. Things were out of whack because there were so many needs there. And so he was very much overly attentive to ministry, putting all his time and effort and everything in there. And I'm just at home crying with 2 little kids. And so I just got so bitter and just, I hated the hardship, and it crossed into hating him. And I mean, I was so in love with that man. I can't even tell you. I mean, I love him. But it was amazing how human love can turn to hate. And it would have been easier to divorce at the state my heart was in. And it was, to me, very favorable, the favorable option. But I knew enough of God's word to know that it was not his will. And I knew the enemy was tempting me to do that, and I wanted to. But I had enough knowledge, and that's just probably the Holy Spirit in me, just being a brighter light than my feelings. It was just very evident to me that I would be following what Satan wants me to do. And he hates me. He hates everybody, actually, because we're all made in God's image. So he hates humans, and he wants to destroy them all, especially Christians. And so I knew that if I followed his plan, it would only get worse.
Yes.
My obvious option was to do God's will. And I mean, of course, I'm so happy that I did.
Yeah. We are.
Well, good. Yeah.
We are too.
I'm so glad, because I can't even imagine missing out on all the joy and love and happiness that I've had. Staying married.
Yeah.
To my wonderful man.
That's awesome. Like, do you have anything like similar or anything?
Yeah, I mean, I would say for me, I just was very broken for a very long time, right? And probably I would put a name to it. It was either overachievement syndrome or perfectionism, or it was depression, or it was my upbringing, or it was all of these different things. And I would say that, when I really accepted Jesus Christ as my Savior, and I really opened my heart to get into a personal relationship with him, it wasn't an easy button for me. So it was very hard. It was very hard. And I was baptized, but I continued to live the way I had always lived, right? Like I I was reading the Bible. I was in the Bible every day, but I continued to do the things that I would always do. And so when I married my husband, I left the state we were living in and moved to the frozen north, right? I'm a Southern girl, lots of sunshine, right? And I moved to, and I wasn't in Belarus, but I felt like, I'm sure it wasn't as bad as Belarus. I'm sure it was.
You never know, might have been.
I tell you, we were close to the Canadian border. It was, the winters were awful and I had no friends and, it was just really tough. So, and again, I continued to not really change, right? Really, to really become that person that I would read about in the Bible that I was just like, gosh, I would just want that relationship, right? So, I mean, and this story really is more about like my husband, and we went through a rough patch early in our marriage. Had been married for 5 years and we separated, and it was really, really bad. There were really, really bad things going on. And in the natural, we should be divorced right now because I went back to my state, which was 1,700 miles away. But what I realized is it really came home to me. I didn't work for 30 days. I was at my parents' for 30 days. I put down my phone for 30 days, and I really just got on my knees and prayed. And what I realized is that the enemy was coming after me harder than he ever had, and he was coming after my marriage harder than he ever had in my life. And I realized I loved my husband very much, and that I was working so hard to be everything that I thought my husband wanted me to be, rather than focusing on what God had for me and how he accepted me for who I was. And so I really learned during that time that in a relationship, you don't have to, let's see, how do I put this? It's really okay to take care of you first. Right? It's really okay to take care of you first when you're taking care of yourself in relationship with Jesus. And then he will work everything else out. Right? It's just focus on you, what you can do, and he will do the rest. And he really did in my marriage. I went back. It was hard. It was the hardest thing I did. I remember there would be nights I would be laying in bed because we were sleeping in separate beds even after I went back. And I would just say, God, please, I don't want to love him anymore. Like I would just beg, it was just, please, I don't want to do this. But I stayed because I really felt like I had made a vow and that God really wanted me to stay because I could see little things happening in my heart that had never happened before. And over time, I mean, I'm glad I didn't leave because we have just an incredible marriage, right? I mean, it's just unbelievable. I never thought that I could cohabitate with someone in the same space, and be this happy and comfortable with who I am. And it's just really been cool. But I did learn, though, that other people I can pray for them, but they have to kind of find their way and take care of them. I can't be that person for them all the time, because being that person for them, enabling them, or trying to step into the gap for them, it's not what the Lord is calling me to do. Sometimes it's just time out, focus on me, pray for them, but focus on me. I'll take care of them. I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes sense. I was just going to ask Karen or like her take on it, but hearing your guys' both stories, it's funny how it's a marriage, right? It's a relationship. There's two people and it's a hard time, but both of you guys in your situations stopped and like did an inward look and dealt with stuff that was going on obviously we want to fix the other person. I think that's how the conversation starts, at least for me. You start praying and you're like, God, this man. Yeah. And then all of us.
Blah, 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 blah. And he's like, no, I'm going to let you focus on you.
Yeah.
So
you start
can blah, blah, blah,
reading
blah,
the
blah.
Bible because you want to find that verse to quote to the, and you start looking at the Bible and it starts looking like a mirror and you're like,
Yeah.
that's me.
Exactly.
That's crazy. But isn't that like what you heard? We talk about this a lot on the podcast, like doing a lot of like work. And I know you said it as like focus on you, but it's more so like there is a struggle within us to constantly want to lean. We're in a sin-filled world that's constantly pulling us to like act this way, behave this way. This is how you should react. And then there's this other thing, the new born again us, that's like,
It was a struggle going
No,
on
girl.
inside of me, yeah. And I think that what was important for me to do when I say focus on me, what I meant was not in a ego-centered, it's all about me kind of way, but focus on my relationship with the Lord and opening myself up for him to work those things out in me
Yeah.
and letting other things go that I was trying to control in someone else. That's really what it was, and just focusing on opening myself to let him do the work that needed to be done. And because it had to start with me. I can't fix someone else, right? It had to start inside.
Put your own oxygen mask on first.
And that's what it
That's
was.
a good way of saying it.
That
That's
is what
exactly
it
what you
was.
were saying. Yeah.
And it was so awesome how my husband came around and then he would say things to me and we would have conversations and I'm like, Lord, this is awesome. And I had nothing to do with it.
And that's even better when you like don't feel like you made someone do something,
right.
or they're doing it just because you want them to. It's like a heart thing that has to happen, and there's no better person to pull at heartstrings than God, than Jesus. There's no better person.
So true.
Karen.
I love the stories, and this is why, because it is really about your relationship with God. It really is. And this is what we talk about all the time on our podcast, is your relationship first with God. And for me as a single person, I love hearing the challenges, because you cannot expect to go into anything in this life without having practical and prepared to walk through the rough times.
Sure.
You got to be ready for that. And so as a single person, it is helpful to hear that, oh my gosh, you guys both, different situations, but you persevered because you leaned into God, which is something we constantly talk about. You leaned into God, you focused on him, even in a relationship with the most intimate person you guys are with, your spouse, your husband. And so that even encourages a single person that says, hey, it can be done. When I get married, I can stay married. I've got to make sure that God is number one in my life, number one in my marriage. You put those together. So it's very encouraging, even though it's probably not the top 10 stories you wanted to talk about. It probably wasn't, but it was the most helpful and most successful for a single person to hear.
But Pastor Maria said it, like, it's hindsight. You're looking at the moments that made your marriage. And even though it was the ugliest moment, you can look back and say, that's when I was in the fire getting purified. That's when the marriage was getting solidified. That's when my marriage was like, that's why it's called a breaking point for something, for sure. Right? Because it's that point where like, it's the most vulnerable, but it's also that point that like makes that. And so I think that's important. Relationships are not going to be perfect. And I think I'm the one that's married the least amount of time. And it's hard to be vulnerable. For me, it's hard to be vulnerable, period. Karen and I talk about this all the time. I've grown so much in the past year of being vulnerable with God, which is crazy concept because he sees all and knows all. I know how crazy I sound. I know. But when you're someone who's hurt and comes from, childhood hurt and just failed relationships, and I've shared a little bit of my childhood abuse and things like that, like being vulnerable and being intimate with someone, even in the concept of a relationship between God and me, is hard. And God is a gentleman in the sense that, like, even though he knows all, he sees all, he wants to fix it because he can. He won't until you give him permission. He won't. And I've learned a lot in the last year that, like, listen, girl, it's going to be uncomfortable, just like a lot of relationships are. You think you know the person that you're dating or you're going to marry, but until you marry them and live with them and you get to see all of the, like, nonsense, you don't know what's going on. And it's the same thing with the relationship with God, where I heard you say, and Karen says it beautifully. She says, God can be your savior, where you're baptized under water and he's rescued you from this bad thing, or he can be your Lord, where you're living a life. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that was a transition that I heard you say there.
Yes.
And that's also like that's a relationship. That's vulnerability. That is intimacy with someone, because you've now just denied yourself. And now we're in this like marriage. This is the whole thing. And that's the one thing that I've learned the most, I think, is just being vulnerable with my person, which I love, because vulnerability at one point was seen as weakness. And the world can also see it as weakness. But I mean, if I can't have that with my husband, I don't want it. You know what I mean? Like, who are you going to be vulnerable with? This is the person that you wake up. That's what I want. And I know it doesn't sound great. You know, like you were saying, like, it doesn't sound like, oh, that story is like weird. I have to be vulnerable. But that's what I want out of a marriage. I feel like the second time around, this is like my husband. This is my person. I love, adore, respect that man and our marriage and what we've built together and the fear that is in that man for God. And I think that love can translate into, I remember saying a prayer one time, God, I want to be so hidden and deeply involved with you that man has to go through you to get to me. And that's what we accomplish whenever we're women of prayer, women of the Bible. And we're not like, and we're more so like,
Yeah, exactly.
that's what we accomplish, you know? That's what we accomplish.
Mainstream woman. I know.
But that's in the sense, and I've seen it. I've shared how, you know, Leon was the one that brought me to the church. Leon was the one that was like, Leon's my husband.
Yes, thank you.
Leon's my husband. Before Karen asked me.
So to explain that, she say Leon and never. So we have people that are listening. Yes, for you guys. Yes,
I got it.
yeah.
I'm like, who doesn't know Leon's her husband?
Yeah.
That's what I would say. And Karen would be like, who's Leon? I'd be like, making a great point. And she's like, who's Leon? And I'm like, he's my husband.
Yes.
But, you know, that's the benefit of that and the benefit of building a relationship with God and you working on your relationship with God. And I think you and pastors say that all the time, like the different, you know, this is why they come up so much, you guys. They're so smart. They're so smart. But the different prioritization, right? Is that how you would say it? Yeah. The different how would you say it, Pastor Maria? Because I feel like, yeah, of what you should work on.
Yes, what you said.
Right? So it's, say it.
Our relationship with God first.
First, yes. And so us working with God first, and I found that to be true with my husband. He was the one who was raised Catholic, knows nothing as far as like intimacy about the word. And there's this man who's one day was like, you're always reading the Bible and singing. Why don't we go to church? And I was like, we don't really like church. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, you know, and I've said this a couple times. I'm like, it's fun to go. We'll go on Christmas and we'll go on Easter. Those are good.
You were those.
Yeah.
Yes.
She was a CNE. Yeah.
We'll go on Christmas
CNE Christian.
and we will go on Easter. And he's like, why? And I was like, everybody loves sausage, babe. No one wants to see how he gets made. And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, then you got to get involved and talk to people, and then you got to make friends and smile. It's just weird. And then eventually it was like, no, really, let's go. And so we started going, and we'd go like every other Sunday. And then he was like, you sing so good. Why don't you try out for the choir? And I was like, no, we really got to talk to people.
Then you really got to interact with
No, we really got to talk to people. And so it was someone who the rocks will speak. It was literally someone who knew nothing about anything. I mean, you know, I don't want to say, sorry, don't want to be offensive. I don't know that Catholics know anything, but he was a Catholic that like went to mass on Christmas and Easter and that's it. Like that was his thing. And he was like, you should really try for the choir. And I was like, oh, okay. Choir. And here we are, folks. Here we are.
Hey guys,
Many years later.
If by chance you are resonating with church hurt right now at this moment, check out our episode on church hurt. She goes into really deep detail, and it might help you if you want to get back into church. You'll be able to identify with some of the things. She's very raw and honest about her past and how she went through not just one church hurt. She went through 2 church hurts, which I didn't even know until we actually did the podcast. So if this is something that interests you guys, go back and look up that podcast. It's called Church Hurt, right? Yeah. It's called Church Hurt.
Needless to say, it's just one of those experiences where like he was the one that kind of drove us to God, and he was like the least experienced out of it. Was just the a God thing, just a beautiful God thing. So I love all of our stories. I think the only thing we haven't hit, which is just friendships, and relationships, friendships. I think friendships are very important as well. That's the whole spirit of Valentine's Day, is just friendships. Anything on friendships, Karen?
Get as many as you can.
Really?
Yeah. Yes.
I like a closed circle.
Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have a closed circle. You just can't unload on everybody.
Many circles.
Yeah, there's lots of
Many
different circles.
That's a better way to put it. That's a
Yeah.
better way to put it.
Yeah.
I have
got
my
trust issues,
battery.
girl. Let's just-
Not just trust issues, but like my battery, or maybe you can relate. There's so many hours in the day.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And there's so many things that you have to do, the little buckets, like the wife bucket, the mom bucket, the friend bucket. And if I like to be a really good friend, I need that bucket to be like tight and right. And like, I guess I don't like to be like a mediocre friend.
Well, and this is the difference also between someone who's married who has different hats they have to wear. Not have to, but you know what I mean? You have different hats that you have
to.
you have to wear.
I'm thinking it. You said it.
Versus a single person who goes home.
Social, you're right.
And so my social need is different than your social need. The needs that you have on your plate every single day is different than mine.
You're right.
So, but on mine, as a single person, I wouldn't have 100,000 very close friends in either. So we share that same anyway. I just have a very small circle of people, and I make sure that they're godly friendships.
Yeah.
If they're married, they are living a godly marriage, because that's super important as well. So whatever their hands are, wherever their hands are, they are representing God in every area of their lives. So even as a single person, yes, I have a very small circle of close friends, but I do have a lot of acquaintances and people that branch out. So yeah.
And what about you?
Yes, I have very few really close friends. And then the circle gets bigger, and then I have a lot of people that are friends, and if I see them, you pick up where you left off, and yada, yada. And then there's always just a lot of people in my life that I like. I'm thankful for them, and they're there. And so whenever I do see them, it's great. I made the mistake years ago, earlier in the church, that I'd gotten hurt by a couple women. And I was like, yeah, I don't need that. So I shut myself off, and I just did what I did. And then there was a time I got my feelings so hurt because all these girls were getting together, and they were like, I consider them like my friends-ish, and they were all doing all these fun things, and they were never inviting me. And I was so hurt. And so I went to the Lord, and I was like, telling him about it. And he goes, they're just honoring what you have made very clear that you want or don't want. And I was like, but I didn't mean that. He's like, I know you didn't. You have to make an adjustment. Yeah. So I had to get over the fact that, yes, people in general, not just girls or friends, but life brings harm. People bring harm. People are messy. We all do it. Yeah. It's not just other people do it. We all hurt people unintentionally. But we need them. And being married too, I just know that, if I don't have friends that I'm talking to, I wear my husband out because he has to be it. And he doesn't want to be my girlfriend.
No, they don't.
They don't want to be your
don't.
girlfriend.
He doesn't.
Yeah, for me, I am I think I'm probably more Jovi, probably a little bit more, and Pastor Maria is the same, that I have a couple of very close friends. Friends who, I'm thinking of two in particular, that knew me before I became a Christian, that know the ugly parts, right? Not that I'm not really ashamed of those things, but I do know it wasn't my best self, and I don't have shame around it, but I'm redeemed from it, which is awesome. So, but it's really cool to have those folks, those two friends who just have come along on the Christian journey with me and are Christians themselves. So I would say those. And then I have a lot of people that I like. But But even when I was younger, I didn't have a lot of friends. I was really okay kind of in my own place and in my own head. I mean, I really don't need friends to talk to. And now I just find that I do a lot of journaling and I just literally just try to give it all to God, right? Because I don't know. I'm the type of person that I find, even with my really, really close friends, it's hard for your close friends, even those that are Christians, to take out judgment or their own bias, right? Everyone has their own bias. They bring that to the situation. And maybe it's because I have had hurt, maybe. I do find myself right now in this point of life. I'm okay getting my answers this way, right? And then if I have close friends that we, go play golf together and I'm with them for 2 hours and we go have dinner and that's great. But I don't really have the hang out ones and I'm okay with it. I mean, I'm really happy with it like that. I have my friends here at worship and my church, and people that I know I can call on if I need them here at church. And I think that it's okay to be that way. I don't think you have to kind of have this close relationship with other girls. And if you do, great. But if you don't, it's okay as long as it's healthy.
Yeah.
Right? As long as it's healthy and you're not leaving, you're not isolating, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Maybe once, I'm like you, Jovi, though. I'm running 100 miles an hour from the time I get up in the morning. I own 2 businesses and they're very demanding on my time. And I just kind of sometimes there's not a lot of room.
Yeah.
There's just not a lot of room.
You only have what you have to give.
You'd only have what you have to give. And when it comes down to making a choice between my church, my God, my husband, and my family, I choose those 4, over hanging out with girlfriends. So those relationships are not as close right now in my life as they've been before.
And I think we all go through seasons.
There are seasons.
That's the season I'm in right now.
We all go through seasons. I have like a friendship theory, and it's not a theory that I created by any means. I heard this a long time ago from someone. And they say you should have 3 different types of friend groups. So I do believe in friend groups. Friend groups in your life.
Just thinking of it now.
Yeah. Well, it's just friend groups. And they say you should always have someone who is like wise above you, right? Aiming to be where you want to be, whether that is a marriage that you're like, okay, these people are God-fearing people who we know we can go to for advice, who can counsel us according to the Bible wisely, whatever, financially, someone who is just where you want to be in life. Then you should have the person that's like with you, where you can kind of struggle together and like, hey, I just had a baby, you just had a baby. This kind of sucks. No one said that. No one said that, which, I mean, we got to talk about that because that was crazy. But, and then you should have someone who you're like mentoring that can kind of show you how much you've grown and you can pass it forward. And maybe there's someone who's going through a struggle with their marriage and you've been there and you can kind of give them advice or, vice versa. So that's a type of description of the friend group, but Karen knows this. I have no problem cutting people off.
Nope.
Yeah.
Not at
That's
all.
me too. I mean, I will be like, shoot, you're out. I mean, it's not a good thing. I'm not proud of it, but I mean, it's like, shoot, you're out. And yeah, if you become too needy for me, I'm like, you're out.
It's
right?
not even on needy. I think for me, it's been discernment type of thing where, close friendships and you thought you knew someone and then all of a sudden, like, they don't honor marriage like you do. And you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
that's contagious. No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Guarding your heart is like we have an episode on this too. And I'm like, cut it. Cut it. You gotta go. Or just witnessing or seeing things. Sometimes you want to help people and you have the best of intentions, but not all the times. Sometimes people just like where they are and they want to stay there.
Yeah.
And instead of you being able to like, I don't think that I can help you. And this is beyond, you don't have to save everyone, but when it starts affecting you, you can see your mood change and you can just kind of start to weigh on your heart. That's where I'm like, I love you. And I want to see you grow, but just maybe not in my garden.
He's good.
That is good. It is.
So that's where I'm at with relationships
Okay.
and friendships.
I'm going to be nice to you.
No, not at all. Not at all. Guys, the lighting is getting weird, and I think this episode has been really good. So I don't want to blind anyone, including myself.
The lighting is getting.
It is. I can see it on the camera there. It's like changing, and it's about to blind some of you guys. So, Karen, anything before we like cut out?
No, I love this. Thank you guys so much for being.
That was so scary. I was too.
I finally learned where to look, even though you told us in the whole beginning, I could look at the wrong thing.
Oh,
And then I was like, oh.
That's what she was talking about. That's okay. That's okay. Next time you'll be a
Slow
pro.
learner, but I did come along kind of, I think,
And
eventually.
we know what Galentine's is.
Now we know.
yeah, that is the biggest thing.
Dinah.
Okay.
Quiet
Okay.
warrior. Who knew? We love you, Karen.
Whatever. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Guys, we're so happy that you're here with us. If you don't follow us already on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, we're also on Spotify and we're on Apple Podcast. We have our website, www.faithunfilteredlife.com, where we'd love to hear from you. You can connect with us with our email. You can leave comments on any of those platforms. We'd love to have you again. We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.